The devices have already uncovered secrets that no other kind of research can reveal. Essential data that will provide a vital insight into the most complex animals, like Rory's beloved penguins.
A bird that does something better than fish has got to be attractive. But actually it all started when I was about 4 or 5, when I went to the zoo with my mother, and we were watching penguins in a pool, and they were just swimming around on the surface, then suddenly they'd disappear, and they'd appear somewhere else. I thought this was a fantastic trick, and I've been obsessed with them ever since. So here we have data from a penguin gathered with a daily diary and showing depth. If you look at the depth, the bird was at the surface, dived down, was at the surface again, and did another dive, and so on. But also, via acceleration, we can have a look at how much effort the animal was putting into the activity. Have a look at how much effort the animal starts paddling with its flippers, and each one of these peaks is a flipper beat. Normal flipper beats, beat, 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 beat here, and then the bird presumably saw a fish here, and then went wild, bang, 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 bang. Energy is important because energy for animals is like money for people, except that you can't overdraw on energy like you can at the bank. If animals don't work out their expenditure, energy expenditure, with the amount of energy they acquire by eating, they can get into really serious trouble. Ultimately, of course, they die. Before they execute a dive, they will inhale oxygen according to the performance that they're going to undertake during the dive. And that performance depends on the depth to which they will be going, and also the number of fish that they perceive they're going to catch. And that performance is based on the number of fish they've just caught in the previous dive. So if animals are smart enough to make hugely complex decisions based on what's happening around them, what's likely to happen, and all the rest of it, then if we're going to understand them properly, we need to be aware of that as well. Battery on the left. So you want the battery on the left.
At Whiteham Wood, these scientists have been studying badgers for 3 decades.
Yeah.
But it is only now they are getting a full picture of the badgers' lives.
I think these devices could be a grasshopper leap forward for us in the studies we've been doing with these badgers and indeed many other wild creatures around the world, because the level of detail that we're able to glean from the movement patterns detected by his data loggers gives us the opportunity to be with the animal, if you like, almost every second, many times a second, in fact, of its working life.
Rory's device is so groundbreaking and unconventional, he has struggled to get financial backing from the usual sources. It took imagination and vision to see its potential.
To have the acknowledgement and the potential from Rolex that says, we believe in this and you can do this project, suddenly means that I can perfect a technology which I believe will be the flight recorder that people all over the world can just say, we want to know about the tiger, or we want to know about giant pandas or elephant seals or whatever it is. We need this technology, it's been done, and now let's go and find out about it. Can you imagine that you could say to someone working with those animals, even if you can see it, never mind if they're goats in the backyard, put one of these things around its neck and you won't have to watch it anymore.
In the stark landscape of northwest India, the people have suffered natural disaster and hardship. But they're resilient and have learned that a local tradition can help rebuild lives. One woman was the catalyst for an amazing revival.
When I'm facing challenges, the fun is finding the solution.
The people of Kutch have strong folk traditions and live a simple existence on very low incomes. Chanda Shroff is 73. She travels many hundreds of miles a year to help the women of the region to make good use of their traditional skills of embroidery.
Kutch is a land of drought, cyclones and earthquakes. When they occur, the suffering is severe. The women use vibrant colours in their embroidery to counter the harshness of life.
Chanda journeys to some of the most remote and deprived parts of the area. Some of the women live as nomads, and Chanda has to track them to their camps to view their work. The women here work hard to support their families. Although the time left to create embroidery is limited, Chanda has helped the women of Kutch to develop their skills and sell their handiwork to the wider world. When she first started coming here 38 years ago, there were few opportunities for the local women to earn a living.
When I first came, the conditions were terrible. The people had no hope of standing on their own 2 feet or improving their lives. They were desperately poor. But embroidery came to their aid.
I've stitched it up to keep it clean. It took me a month, like the other ones. I've had so many chores to do.
Each of the ethnic groups of the area has its own distinctive lexicon of motifs and stitches handed down through the generations.
The art of embroidery is woven into the fabric of life here. Because the nomads live under the stars and roam the desert surrounded by thorny cacti, they use motifs that resemble thorns. The Aris have a finesse in their work. This is because they once worked in palaces. Even today, their peacocks are very shapely.
Part of Chanda's skill is uniting women across the caste divides. Embroidery here is a tradition for these women. The original purpose of their needlework was to produce a dowry. With more than 16 different styles of embroidery, there is a sense of pride and individuality in each piece the women produce. Chanda saw that by bringing the embroidery to a wider audience, she could advance the tradition and help the women who made the work.